Okay, so this is the wreath that I'm starting out with. Um, Now it's a pretty cute wreath. I've had it for a long, long time, probably at least 10 years. And I bought it originally at Walmart. So I just want to have something a little newer, a little updated. So what I'm going to end up doing is taking this apart and using the pieces to make two different wreaths. So in this video, I'm going to show you the one that I'm working on for our back door, which comes into our kitchen. So we're going to get started on that. So this is the beginning of the wreath that I am making. I have a picture that I found that I'm using as sort of my inspiration for this wreath, and I'm going to insert that picture right here. So as you can see, I'm not trying to copy that exact wreath, but what I really liked about it was the way they had the fabric that kind of went across the center, and then it said welcome. So I've actually got, I'm going to be using this polka dot fabric that I got at Walmart. This is one of those fat quarters that you can buy, and this is half of it here. I just cut it in half. And then for the welcome, I've got one of these, which was the set of words that came from Dollar Tree. They had them during the fall, and it came in a set of 3. There was like welcome, harvest, and thankful. So I took one of the welcome ones and I actually painted it white, because as you can see, they're kind of just like an unfinished metal. And I went ahead and painted it white, and I'm going to be using that. So I'm going to get started by putting this fabric on. And I'm trying to figure out the best way to do it because I haven't done this before. I think what I'm going to end up doing is fastening the fabric on this side where it's kind of bunched up. And then I will take this side and wrap it around and glue it behind. So I think that's what I will do first. And I need to kind of use something to pinch this end together. So I'm going to use just a little bit of floral tape here. So I'm just going to pinch this end together and secure it with this little bit of floral tape until I get it glued in place. That will just kind of help me hold it where I want it to be, and that way I'll only have to glue it in one spot. Also, I apologize if I get a little quiet on you today. I'm not feeling the greatest today, but I'm going to try to kind of power through and see if we can get this done because I want to finish my decorating. Now on the wreath that I'm using as my inspiration, they kind of had the fabric going straight across, and I'm trying to decide if that's what I want or if I want to maybe angle it a little bit. I feel like maybe I do want to angle it down just a little bit. So I'm going to glue this end up here. And this is one of those wreaths that I bought from Joann Fabrics online. I shared those in a haul a couple of weeks ago. So that was what I bought these for, to use for my wreaths. So I'm going to hold that in place for just a second here. Okay, that seems pretty good. And then, that way I can hopefully kind of pull this across and not have it be droopy. So now I'm going to flip this over. And all I did with this fabric is I did kind of fold over the edges and just iron them down a bit. So the edges are unfinished, but I folded them in so that hopefully that raw edge won't show too much. I'm just kind of making sure that those edges are folded as I bring it around to the back. And this one does not want to stay folded. Okay. So I'm probably going to start, I think I'm going to start by gluing it in the center. Right here. I like to use my little metal ruler to push down, especially when I'm doing something with like a fabric where that glue will kind of soak through. I don't want to burn my fingers. Okay, so let me just, I'm going to kind of flip this over and make sure it's looking, oh, this end came off here. I need to hold that longer than I thought. Okay, so I'm going to finish gluing that down on the back side. Just glue all those edges, and then I will be back in a minute to show you the next step. Okay, so now I've got my fabric all attached. It's glued on this end, and then I wrapped it around the back and also glued it on that end. So that part is ready to go. Now on my inspiration picture, they had a bow that had long tails hanging down. Now I have made a bow, but I didn't make any long tails in the bow. What I did is I took a separate piece. I took the leftover fabric that I had, I doubled it over, and I actually ended up just hot gluing the edges together. So I'm using that as almost like a ribbon, and then I took a few pieces of the ribbon that I used in the bow to just kind of add some, like I said, like streamers coming down. So now I'm going to glue this on the side here, and I'm going to have to kind of play around to see what the best position is. The way this wreath is going to be for our side door, which comes into our kitchen, and we have the main door, and then we also have a glass storm door. So, excuse me, I don't have a lot of space between those doors. So I think, like, normally I would put the bow on top of the wreath, but I think with this one, I'm going to have to kind of put the bow off to the side. Otherwise, it's going to get crushed between those doors. So I just need to kind of play a little bit. Okay, just to figure out exactly where I want everything. So I'm going to glue this little streamer piece here. I'm going to glue this to the wreath so that it kind of looks like it's coming out of the bow when I eventually put the bow on. So we'll have to hold that in place for just a minute here. Okay, and then I just want to kind of hold this up while I hold the bow, so I can just make sure it's looking the way I want it to. Yeah, I think that's going to be really cute. So I'm going to attach the bow, like I said, kind of on the side here. And then I'll just have to fill in with all of my decor pieces, because there will be a little bit of a gap on the front. But I've got lots of decor that I can use, so we'll get it filled out and looking really nice. This is the bow that I made. So I've used this ribbon that has like peppermints and candy canes. I used this red one that has the bright green edging, and then I used the red and green stripes. And I think those are really fun and cheerful, which is kind of what I wanted for the main door. Like I said, that's the main door that we use. And generally, even people that are visiting us, that's typically the main door that we use to come in and out. So that'll be like the first thing that everybody sees. So I definitely want it to be bright and cheerful. And then in my kitchen, I use a theme of peppermints and gingerbread houses and cookies and just all those kinds of things that are kind of related to kitchens. So I wanted to kind of tie the wreath into the room that you're walking into when you come through that door. Okay, I'll have to come back and fluff this bow out a little bit later, because I'm kind of crushing it to hold it on there until the glue dries. Okay, and then that wreath that I showed you in the beginning that I'm sort of repurposing, what I've done is I've just cut, excuse me, I just took it all apart. I took all of the decor pieces off, and I've cut a lot of the little pine stems off, and that's what I'm going to be using in these wreaths. So I'm going to start putting a few of these in. Like I said, I kind of have a little gap area here that normally would have been covered by the bow, if I was going to put the bow on the top of the wreath, on the front of the wreath. So I'm going to be adding a good bit of decor to those areas instead. I'll have to pick this up occasionally and show you how it's looking, because you can't really see it when it's laying on the table like this. I apologize for that. Okay, I'm going to have to come back and reattach that bow, because I don't think I got it glued to a good spot on the wreath. That's the only problem with these willow or twig type wreaths, is you've got to find just the right spot to get your pieces adhered really well. So I'm going to put another piece of pine coming out the top here. And I'm probably going to use a few of these. I think what I'm going to do at this point is probably speed up the video and just let you kind of watch what I'm doing. I've got my bow, my streamers, I've got my little evergreen pieces, and my red berries. So now I'm just going to look at what else I want to add for decor. I've got a few things here to choose from. Bring these over. One thing that I wanted to use was this ornament that I found at Rural King. I did a shop with me and a haul from that store. So I had bought this little ornament. It's just like a wooden cutout. But of course it goes with my candy theme really well. So I was thinking about using that. I'm going to kind of lay some things out here and see how they work. I've also got a couple of these little gingerbread house ornaments, which I thought were really cute. So I'm not sure if those are going to go in here. I was thinking about using this. It's an ornament that I've had that looks kind of like a cookie. But because it says Merry Christmas, and I do have the welcome sign that I'm going to put on there, I don't think I want another item with words on it. So I'm going to set that aside for now. But then I've also got these little ornaments that are just plastic pieces of candy. These ones are white. And I thought with all of the red that I've got going on, maybe if I put a few of these white little candies in there, that might brighten it up a little bit. And then I've got a few little just random pieces of these bigger berry clusters that I can kind of scatter around if I need to. So I'm kind of looking here. And honestly, I'm not 100% sure about this candy cane ornament. I'm not sure that I want to use that. I'm just going to set that aside for now too. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and put in a few of these white candies, and I might just keep it a little more simple. So the final touch, I glued my welcome on. I think I'm going to have to come back with a needle and thread and make a few stitches because the hot glue feels like it's not enough to hold that in place. You can see it's real wobbly. So I'm going to come back through and stitch that on in a couple spots. And then I think the final touch I'm going to add is one of these poinsettias that I got from Dollar Tree. And they've got the little clips on. I think I'm going to go ahead and try clipping that right here. And then kind of work it in, let the bow overlap a little bit. Yeah, I think I really like that. So I'm going to show you what this looks like, and then as soon as I get my words attached really well, I will show you it hanging on the door so you can see the whole thing. So I'll be right back. All right, so here is the completed wreath hanging on the door. I really like how it turned out. I think it looks really, really cute. So, that is all I have for today. That's my new wreath. If you're new here, I would love to have you subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching this video, guys, and I will see you in the next one.